himself guitar
Yeah.
in his bedroom, and all year he would go to Tamworth, hear the country music.
It sounds like you're talking to me like you just went on a first date with this guy. And
I love this guy.
we're just on the porch and he knew all this stuff about country music.
Well, I mean, I was sitting there going, because he was telling me a story about Charlie Pride, who just passed. And he was telling me a story about how Chet Atkins had to put his first, I think it was when he sent it out to be played on radio in brown paper bags.
So no one would know he was black.
They wouldn't know that he was black, yeah.
And Chet Atkins produced it probably.
Yeah. And I'm like, how do you know that? He goes, everybody knows that. And I'm like, oh, I don't know that.
And now you do.
But, that's just, he has so much knowledge. And then he plays by ear.
Yeah.
So you can play him one song and he'll play. He can play it, and he can play drums. And,
wow.
He's just that. You play it and he'll play piano, guitar, drums.
Well, that's exciting to have that in the house, right?
So anyway.
It must be nice. Always entertaining.
My music man.
Good for you. Yeah. So you just got back from shooting a movie?
I was shooting in Belfast.
In Belfast?
Yes. I love Belfast now.
Really? I love Ireland. I love Ireland.
Oh.
I want to live there. I want out.
Yes. The weirdest thing was I'm in Belfast and I'm like, and I have this sort of this way of going, maybe we should move here. I'm that person.
Me too.
So I'm in Belfast going, this place is really special.
Yeah.
And there's something about it. I was just drawn. I have Irish blood. My part of my family came over to Australia in 1839 on the SS Susan. So.
Wow, that
pre-settlers.
The big history. I have zero Irish blood. I'm all Jew, and some part of me.
I know you are. I've been listening to the
come up a lot?
Some of your podcasts, and I now subscribe to you.
Oh, good. Well, that's very nice.
Yeah,
I'm flattered.
Yeah, because I was saying you're one with Glenn.
Oh yeah,
I learned about Glenn. Fascinating. And I've worked with Glenn years and years ago, but I didn't know that. And then Kerry's one was so extraordinary because she went to India. All of these things. So I've been very excited to do this with you.
Yeah, I've been excited too. I wasn't. I was nervous. I'm nervous. You've done a lot of things, and I've been to Australia a few times. And one thing I remember now, I don't know what this is, but I'm going to ask you because I'm curious. Mm. Whenever you go to Australia, you're an American. Australians talk about 7 people, the Australians that everybody knows around the world, and you're one of them. But then there was always this thing. It's like, oh, her family owned the entire country once. Is that?
Yeah, no, I'm not of that family.
Okay.
That's the Adelaide Kidman.
Oh, you missed out, huh?
South Australia. Uh-huh. Yeah. And he was a cattle king.
Oh.
And I'm not related to him.
Do you get that a lot, though? Do people assume that about you?
Yes.
They do?
Yes.
They're like, oh, she's like a rich, old money Australian lady. Nope.
Yeah, that's not the case. I came from a working class father who built himself up and got his degree and became a biochemist and then became a psychologist.
But a psychologist? Yeah. Your dad was a psychologist?
He started as a biochemist, and then I remember in my teens, suddenly my father was a psychologist. He'd gone and studied with Albert Ellis, and all of that was sort of CBT and cognitive behavioral therapy.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah.
Did he have an office in the house?
He did.
Oh, wow. So you were that kid?
How did you know that?
What do you mean?
I would peep through the window and see people coming in and be like, I wonder what's wrong with them. But as an actor, that's a wonderful thing because just his understanding of behavior and the things he would share without anonymously was interesting to me. And his real compassion and ability to view things through different perspectives and lenses, I think had an enormous effect on how I view the world now.
I bet. Well, cognitive behavioral therapy, that's the most practical one. Out of all of them, that seems to be the one that you can actually see working, because it really relies on you going like, I'm not going to do that.
Or don't catastrophize. Give some tools as to how to. Yeah, but as a teenager, I was like, so not going to apply any of that, and that's all crap, and I'm not interested. And don't tell me
you push
how to
back,
be.
huh?
And
push back pretty hard.
It's my nature.
Yeah, you fought the good fight.
Little bit willful. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Were you born in Australia? You weren't, right?
I was born in Hawaii.
How long did you live there, though?
For a bit over a year, and then we moved to, till it was about 18 months, I think, and then we moved to Washington, D.C., because my dad was studying at the Institute of Health. D.C.? But they had no money, and they had to go and get, I even remember to get it, they went and got a mattress and my dad's, before my dad passed, he was telling me all these stories, and I think it must have been because maybe he knew that his heart was weak, but we didn't. But he told me a lot of stories about when I was little and things they did when they were in the States. And
oh, really? When did he pass? When did he pass?
It feels like yesterday. It was 6 years ago.
Oh, man.
I was very, very close to him.
That's sad. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
And you were able to do that. So like he's like, did you feel like it was he wanted you to know all this stuff like before he went? Did it have that kind of feeling about your childhood and everything?
Felt like that now when I look back on it.
Do you have pictures and stuff?
I have loads of pictures because my mum took pictures, and but I have stories, but these stories were very particular and very specific. And strangely enough, I remember the last time I saw him, I had this unbelievably strange sensation where I was like, wow, this is going to be the last time I see my dad.
Oh, really?
And then a month later, he died very suddenly. Yeah.
But he wasn't sick?
And I hated having that. No, not sick at all.
Oh, Jesus.
Malcolm Gladwell would say that's just your mind saying, the sort of obvious thing is you're distanced from your family a lot, and he's 75 and anything can happen. And right. So there is or I can go into that other place and go, I had a premonition. So I fluctuate between spiritual and science.
Sure. Yeah. He's a magic killer. Don't let him kill the magic.
Okay. I don't mind that. I don't want to be someone that can have premonitions or feel things and know things.
No, but you got to find some midway. Poetry's poetry and feelings are feelings. Doesn't mean that you believe in an afterlife or you're talking to spirits. I mean, there's,
But I do believe in an afterlife.
You do? What happens?
Yes.
Help me out. Jews get kind of
I don't know what happened. I know a lot about Jewish men.
You do?
So
why is that?
I do. Because I know a lot of Jewish men, and I've been very interested in the religion, and I have a lot of so I just know a lot.
You probably know more than most Jews if you're fascinated with the religion. Most of us are just happy with the framework. Yeah, you like the religion too?
I like sitting shiva, and
What religion are you?
Catholic, raised Catholic.
Well, Catholic's one of those ones. It's pretty ornate and complicated and mystical, and there's all kinds of magical books. I mean, I went to Italy. Every church has a few dead wizards in it. There are dead wizards everywhere in Italy. How many popes were there? And there's pieces of bodies everywhere. It's dark, man.
Yes, the catacombs in Rome.
But every church has like a finger or a saint's ear or a head. That's how you.
That's right.
That's how you were raised Catholic. So you believe in the burning.
I'm always grappling with what I believe and what I don't believe. That's probably part of my nature, which is fine with where I stand with
science.
Faith. But I've been taught to question. But ultimately, like when my father died, the first place I go is church. When Stanley Kubrick died, the first place I went was church, kneeling, praying. So but I was raised in it since I was a baby.
And what do you get out of that?
I get peace. Yeah, I do. I actually do. I get enormous peace.
I'm a Jew, and I walked into those churches like in Italy where they invented the the Catholic stuff. Like those churches, like, I mean, you feel the weight, man. I mean, they're designed to make you feel a certain spiritual weight that's really beautiful. You know, I almost became Catholic. Well, I think I was Catholic when I went in there. Not really, but I mean, when I went into the churches, I was like, I get it.
You feel the...
Yeah, I could sit here and do it, you know, just switch the God out for my more nebulous, kind of unexplained God. You know, just switch out to Jesus.
Yeah.
But so you were brought up with Catholic the whole time? Your parents were?
Yes. Then my mother became agnostic.
Did something happen?
I was just suddenly, my mom wasn't coming to church on Sunday.
Wow.
So I wasn't quite aware of what happened. I remember there was sort of closed doors and tears and for about a year and whispering and then, well, it took course over maybe a year or two where she just slowly, she converted to Catholicism, and then maybe when it was about 8, I think it was, that she just stopped coming. And my dad would take us, and we would go to folk mass where you would sing.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Let it be, let it be. That was part of our with the guitars.
Yeah.
God, I sound so daggy.
Were they singing nuns? Were they nuns singing?
I went to a school with the nuns when I was little, and I would be told the nuns are married to God, and then I would go over into the convent where they lived and be like, oh, I hope I can see God, and I want to see who they're married to. And it was all very like wide-eyed. And then they'd give me biscuits and cookies, and I'd sit there and wait to see how they were married to God. Yeah.
and eat cookies.
All part of the reason I became an actor. I think George Miller says that. He says there's something to actors who are raised in Catholicism because they have all that relationship with, I don't know, big sort of ideas. Yeah, George Miller, who did the Mad Maxes. And
yeah, I know. I'm familiar with him. He's great. Yeah, I mean, the acting thing, I guess I'm just trying to do it now. You're very good at it. You've been good at it a long time. And I think it's like, it's strange to me that like every year, anytime you do anything, it seems that they're writing like, oh my God, Nicole Kidman's back. Or like, she really is amazing. Like you've been here for years doing amazing work, but every time you do anything, they're like, surprise, Nicole Kidman has whatever. They act like you're brand new every time. What the hell's wrong with people? Why can't they just say she's amazing again?
No, well, I think I've definitely not been amazing, and I think I've probably sort of run the gamut of...
What do you mean? When were you not amazing?
And I'm 100, so...
But what do you look back at and go like, well, that was terrible? What do you actually have things that you think back at where you're like, I wish that movie didn't exist?
Wish it didn't exist. It exists. It's there. Yeah, there's things I've done that I go, God, I wish... I'd done better.
Yeah,
but none of the, I mean, I look at every scene practically and I'm like, God, that doesn't, I need a long time before I can watch the performance and have any sort of, I mean, I literally feel nauseous when I watch things, and I have a physical response to things.
That you're in. Yeah.
Yeah. And very disappointed. I feel very disappointed. I think I'm way better than I am. I watch, I go, that's terrible. What? So it's interesting. So I tend not to watch unless I'm producing. And then sometimes I look back and I go, oh, that was interesting. Okay, then I see why that connected or didn't connect. But I'm always trying not to have, I suppose it's more putting it out into the world and seeing how it is, because it shouldn't be about me and my response to it. It should be that I have given blood, hopefully.
Yeah, you're telling a story.
I try to give blood. I try to smash myself into a wall or give blood when I do a performance.
You do every time.
Yeah. I want it to be that, like I really look to
life or death, almost like everything's relying on it.
Never cause.
So like sometimes you watch like the nauseousness is probably like you'll see like a scene and you'll be like, no, I could have made a different choice, or maybe why'd they use that take kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I'm not a good judge of it. And I shouldn't be a good judge of
You
it.
can't be. No,
right?
no, just,
No.
yeah, like, yeah, because like whatever our feelings are,